and crank this shit up.
Alright, cool. Fuck. Yeah. What the fuck? What's going on with my hotkeys?
have an announcement to make. Earlier this week, I was out exploring the Commonwealth and, well, kicking some ass. Anyway, I stumbled across a rambling, bumbling, babbling idiot.
Okay.
He said his name is Arnold, but I lovingly like to refer to him as Arnie, because really, he's not half bad once you get used to him. Go ahead, Arnie. Say hello.
Hello everyone, it's me, Arnie. I'm very happy to be here. When Duke found me, I was naked, cold, and I had no ice cream. Now, I have all the ice cream I could ever want. And I have clothes now, although they do kind of smell.
Okay, I gotta change my hotkeys.
No, Arnie, I think it's just you.
Oops.
You smell.
Alright, so
Okay, so maybe you're right.
we're gonna change the
Maybe
hotkey
if we had
settings
even
for
more
this
ice cream,
character.
we could do even better.
Listen, the only person with more ice cream than me is Ice Cream Carl. And I'm not about to go raid his station, because you know why? If there's one man in the world I love, it's that motherfucker.
No, we need the ice cream now. Duke, if I don't get the ice cream, I'm going to cry.
Shut the fuck up before I get medieval on your ass. Yeah, don't make me tell you again.
Listen, we need to fix the tax problem in this state. The taxes are not being equally distributed across the socio-economic platform that we need to reach. In order to move forward, we need to make sure that all Californians are getting the equal representation that they deserve.
Yeah, I think he might have been in politics in his past life.
Ugh.
들지 마오.
Mm-hmm. Cafe. Please help her. Home. All right. Yep. All right. Yeah, quick second. Pick up some stuff. Matter of fact, let me go back to town. I'm gonna eat real quick. Be right.
Whereas a lot of people are gravitating toward the same. Well, I mean, there's several different issues that plague this industry that kind of got us in the position here that we're in. Of course, it doesn't help when you consider the full talent that these guys are. And people that they're choosing to hide are not the best people that have been suited to create these characters that have worked on. They didn't really that's just not the case for a lot of people. They're just more so vehicles for people to kind of tell whatever story it is they want to tell. And I think that also speaks to the other issues that plague it as well, in that there are a million versions of the same character, and it doesn't necessarily help readership. One of the things that we sought to correct with first was timeline comprehension and not doing all this alternative universe stuff, not doing all that, focusing so much on that. So no matter when a person gets in, whether it be from the beginning and been here since we started, or they pick up a book 5-10 years from now, it'll be at least it'll be something that they can at least get caught up on. So you have kind of a double whammy there, where you have people that aren't talented writing obviously material that most people don't want to read, and you're actively pushing people really up the industry as far as readership. People are going to something else because they feel like they don't have to put up with that. And then on the other hand, it's not like you make it actually easy for people to read, because again, there's so many different versions of various characters, but no police in there. So it's just a mixed bag. It's so many different things, and it's a perfect. And the growth of manga in this country isn't really attributed to something that they're doing particularly different. A lot of these stories and the way they tell the stories are of the same beat, especially the shonen stuff. It's the same beat that it's always been. It's not changed, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying when you compare that to what's being put out right now, of course, it's a no-brainer for people to say, I'd rather read manga than go pick up an actual, like a comic book from, let's say, one of the big two American publishers. It's no-brainer. You have to choose.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the great kind of comparisons would be one of the highest selling manga, which is My Hero Academia. Because the thing is, with regard to that, that is going to show that even in manga, in a Japanese created brand and intellectual property, they are able to craft a kind of superhero based fictional story better than what we're seeing in the big companies like DC and Marvel. It should be a home run for them because they have the most iconic characters in the history of these particular mediums. You know, kind of like the, as somebody like Grant Morrison or somebody would say, kind of like the pantheons of the New Age mythology in a sense. But with that being said, people are more interested to read the stories of Deku in My Hero Academia, or they're more interested in reading the story of Tanjiro in Demon Slayer, for example, or Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan, because the fact that I think one of the things that really has contributed to is that whereas manga is all about building the main character up, building that story, and creating and establishing and taking somebody from weak to strong, in American comics now it's the complete opposite, where it's like we have to break down and destroy and deconstruct characters like Superman, like Batman, and replace them with inferior versions of them, like, Jonathan Kent, for example, or, one of the lesser Robins or somebody like that, who is far more of a vehicle, as you just mentioned, for presenting certain stories that are being told by people who either aren't really familiar with all these decades of history, or simultaneously are more interested in telling a certain kind of narrative, whether it be socio-political or otherwise, comparative to what we actually see in terms of manga, where sometimes they might have allusions to things, but it's not like in your face and taking the forefront of everything that's there.
Oh yeah, that's 100% the case, and like My Hero Academia is more so like a love letter them to us, or from them to us, and I'm talking about like the more so Americanized form of storytelling and superhero type of stuff. It just shows that they can do it and they can do it better. The level of influence is just completely shifted now. Now you have, even because these guys are recognizing that they can't produce like they once were able to produce. They're trying to reach in the Japanese bags, Marvels and the DCs of the world, to try to do manga-inspired stuff, which it used to be the complete opposite, where it's like we're the ones that were influencing their more so the comic book industry influence. All those guys. They flat out admit it. The OG animators were inspired, of course, by American storytellers and American artists. And now it's things are starting to change, which shows the just complete cultural shift. Things are different, and for it to get back on track, it's going to take a lot of self-reflection by the industry, and I think that's what you're not going to get, unfortunately, because the technical people that are in these positions aren't that type of person. They're not the type of person to actually have to admit it's something it is that they're doing is incorrect, or something could be done, let's say better. Maybe it is a social political stuff. Maybe it is just being ideologically obsessed or arrogant, or whatever it is that you want to call it. But them pivoting is so unlikely. So this is why when you see like a decline, they should change, right? That's what any business will do. It almost seems like you're doubling down.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I really love about your work and everything that you're doing right now with Isam and the Rippaverse is the fact of the matter is that even though you, of course, you can see behind you, you have, Ludwig von Mises, Murray Rothbard, and, you're very in that particular political kind of spectrum, shall we say. The fact of the matter is you're not letting that necessarily be like the forefront and the only means of telling your story. It's not the vehicle, but rather you putting story and character before that, which is something that they could also learn from what you're doing too, because the fact of the matter is that so many of these people, as you've said in videos in the past, they're hiring activists. They're not really hiring really talented writers. Whereas, interestingly, in manga, it's all about, it's kind of like auteur theory in film, for example. It's all about that one person's vision and the narrative that they want to tell, whether it be Akira Toriyama with Dragon Ball, whether it be Horikoshi with My Hero Academia, Araki and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's that one central vision idea that proceeds forward, and that's where the quality comes from. And the fact of the matter is another thing is too, like you were saying, there are decades of superhero comics that we have with all these retitles, with all these reboots, especially in DC. How many crises have they had at this point? You know, but the fact of the matter is that one of the things that you're doing too that I really appreciate is that you're not going for the whole retitle thing and the alternate continuities and everything. You want everything to be consistent in that regard, and that's what manga does too. Is some of these, like Berserk, for example, up until recently, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, they follow the same continuity throughout, or if they have some kind of shift, like JoJo Part 7, for example, it's built into the universe in a way that makes sense. So the fact of the matter is that, with that regard, this is why manga and anime is so easy to gravitate toward. This you can pick up one story and go from there, rather than being, which number one of Iron Man do I read? Which number one of Batman? And the same thing with Isom. There's number one for Isom, and that's the only number one that they're going to have to read, which is great.
Yeah, that's one of our primary focus. We're not going to do all the reboot and all that sort of stuff. And like, yeah, starting at volume 1 with pretty much manga is it just makes it easy to keep up with. I mean, people like you look at like the One Piece of the world, which have been going around forever.
Yeah.
And you know, however many volumes that they're going to be, you still want to start at number 1. That's where you start, and you can go do that to get caught up. And I think that that's the part where the businessmen have to kind of step in and understand that the creative stuff isn't necessarily completely detached from the business stuff. That is absolutely a business decision, because what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for success in the future. And everybody's not going to read your book, definitely if you plan to grow, at the time that you started. So you have to look at things through the lens of not just the now. That's something that I encourage people. I talk about this all the time with inspiring or aspiring independent creatives. Like, you can't just, if you see success, look through the lens of date. You can't just look through the lens of that specific release. You have to look through the lens of 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15, if this is something that you want to continue to do. And you don't want to write yourself in a corner. And the way that you do that is to take it in mind and take it into consideration from the get-go. Now, you know, yeah, DC and Marvel have had a billion chances to try to streamline this stuff. In fact, that's what the first Crisis tried to do. In that the Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was the whole point. We got too many versions of the same character running around. How about we just merge all the universes and move forward? Fortunately, they went back on all of that. There's 50 million crises going on, still multiverses all over the place, and they kind of went back on that instead of using that to solve a problem. So even if you give them the benefit of the doubt, like, yeah, first great Batman, I don't think you're anticipating that he's going to literally become the fabric of a part of the fabric of American culture. These guys transcend comics. Same thing you can say for Superman. Same thing you can say for characters like Spider-Man. As well, maybe when you create them, you don't anticipate that. So even if you gave them the benefit of the doubt, you can still streamline it, and that's where the businessman should have came in, and that's just not what happened. So now it's just an absolute free for all. So to your point, you know, that's why, for example, you saw a big, massive with Marvel. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it didn't really translate into like just an absolute crushing of sales. That never happened. And the reason being is because, I just watched this movie. I like Iron Man. To your point, like, hey, I like Iron Man. Where do I start? Okay, I have to get a flow chart out to try to get this. You know, you can explore a dry erase board. Well, this is number 1 and number that. This Iron Man and Invincible Iron Man and Superior Iron Man, or all the whatever different Iron Man that there are. The same can be said for like a character like Spider-Man. I remember when I was still reading the Marvel books, you know, it was just an insane amount of Spider-Man titles down at that time. Like there was like Symbiote Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man. There were all things happening at the same time. So think of that happening over the course of several years. It is impossible for people to keep up with characters that they might be intrigued by, and that's one of the things that that people sleep on for whatever reason when considering the decline of like, you know, definitely the big two or major cultures.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the great things about anime and manga too is that anime tends to be one-to-one with the manga. You go and watch the anime and you love it, I'm gonna read the manga and it's the exact same story. Whereas, like you just said, they could go and watch Iron Man and then they go to the comics, it's like, who's this girl that's Iron Man right now, you know? Or why is Falcon Iron Man? Or why is Falcon Captain America? I don't understand this, you know? And another thing is, too, a lot of the times I noticed the same years ago, I'm sure you did as well, it seems like a lot of the time with Marvel, they're more interested in creating comics that are going to then be inserted later on into the MCU. And so they created like Falcon becoming Captain America in the comics so that they could then insert him into the movies later on. But that failed in the comics, and now it's kind of failing in the live action stuff too. And now, you know, we have to look forward to, you know, what is it, New World Order or something like that in a couple of years. And, you know, it's really the complete strategy of the anime and manga, which is why they're dominating, whereas the others are kind of falling off. So, with that being said, you know, it definitely is something I think that they can learn from, which is in the future, they need to really not only streamline things again, but stick to it. You know, and the thing is, too, with that kind of idea of like Falcon taking on Captain America, and other characters taking on the mantle, that usually doesn't work. It's kind of like you discussed in a previous video in the past where you talked about kind of the tokenization of many characters, and the idea that we want to pass on the mantle to someone new and create something that never really works as well as the iconic characters. So if someone watches something like an animation, they want to go see the exact same character and they want to stick to that iconic character. But at the same time, like your point earlier, it is really difficult to kind of move forward with that with the people who are kind of in charge of these companies now, which is why I kind of feel like they might need to just kind of clean house at this point and, you know, just kind of bring in people who really do have a true appreciation and respect for this material that they're working with.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, if we were being idealistic, that would be the perfect solution. I mean, they can everybody and they can people in there that do what it is that they're doing. That's the only chance they have, but it's just unrealistic, unfortunately, and they've kind of done their own grades. But yeah, the you know, that's been a point, the whole one-by-one comparison with anime and manga, the relationships that is there, is a point that I've brought up a billion times. Now, such a relationship, unfortunately, does not exist with their movies. Marvel's movies. It doesn't exist with animation in a lot of cases. The stuff that they do, you're getting a different version of the character almost every time it is that you see them. There's no level of cohesion. Even when they call themselves adapting something that happened in the books, it's loose. You know what I mean? And they just did nothing but get looser. And yeah, I mean, everything is a fast track. I mean, that's what really all the comic books, for the most part, at least the main storylines, seemed like it was like, how do we fast track this to making it happen in our universe, right? So this is why there's a lot of line skipping. Why, despite them having control now of all these different characters, especially after that Fox deal, why did you get Ironheart? You know, nobody asked that. Why did you get Malachi? Why did you get you know, these other characters that are popping up that nobody actually asked for? I mean, these are relatively new creations. You know, this just happened within the last decade between you know, Kamala Khan and Ironheart. That just happened, but yet they're already in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It just goes to show that's exactly what it was. They were doing it for reasons, and it's one of those things that they tried to force. Same thing they tried to do with Captain America, the Captain Marvel thing with Carol Danvers. That is a relatively new phenomenon. I think it just we're hitting. All right, now it's 11 years, but you know, she was fast tracked in there with 2018, 2019 to have that. You know, when they put her in there, you know, that just happened. You know, her becoming Captain Marvel, and they fast tracked it, and of course it didn't really go poorly. The movie only saw the success it did because of it being sandwiched between Endgame and Infinity War. And so you see the Marvels happening. There's no enthusiasm behind that. There's nobody can really get behind that. So that's the creative stuff and the business stuff. Why I say it's always intertwined. And this is something to learn from. That is a great mistake that these companies have made where they just don't really care about adaptation. It's like they believe more of the quantity. Put out as much stuff, being an IP form, and put out so much stuff. And if there's a connection, who cares? It's like you get a book, you get a book, you get a book. There's no level of cohesion between the writers at all. It's just you'll have, those conversations aren't being had, and that's what's doing a man right now. And like I said, that's not a problem for manga. Manga, it's like you can watch an anime, you can go read the manga. I say it all the time: the anime sells the manga will sell the anime. That's a relationship that exists, and you can have that relationship exist if you're. And that doesn't mean that you have to limit yourself to one thing it is that you're doing as far as like the medium. If you want to expand, like you mentioned earlier, we've done our own animation. But you see the animation, a lot of that stuff is scenes that were directly in the comic book Ice on One, because that's what we're trying to do. It was like, all right, this is supposed to enhance that experience. I can make them actually move and bring it to life. So that's the perspective that we need to take when we do this type of stuff, is that people care about that. The people that are going to be actually invested in it, they're going to care about that. And there have been plenty of people that say, hey, that anime sold me on wanting to get, I can go back and read Ice on One, or buy Ice on One, and I'm excited for Ice on Two. That's how the relationship should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to have links down below in the description for anyone who wants to check those out, because they're definitely something I would really recommend everyone support, because, Eric's really doing what they should be doing in Marvel and DC right now, putting the story first, putting the characters first, and really putting something out that's coming from his own mind with his own vision. And that, as you can see, you can check out those trailers too. They look amazing, so I can't wait to see if maybe you do a little bit more of the animation in the future, because that's going to be a great kind of example to lead by with what you're doing in terms of one translating directly into the other, leading to people wanting to go and read or watch, and kind of interlinking in that sense. So that's a great way that, you're doing something that succeeds with anime and manga. So when it comes down to, let's kind of break it down with, a few major points I think modern comics should learn. What would you say is, the number one biggest point that they should be able to learn from and maybe make changes for, right here and now, for the big companies of Marvel and DC to kind of base off of, what anime and manga is doing?
It has to, you got to start with if you want it to be, and just say you have to put at the forefront entertainment of what it is that you're doing. I was just talking with the great Mike Barron about this, and your number one thing, he mentioned this, is to entertain. Now that's the easy answer. But as far as if we are assessing it, in terms of what's unique to, let's say, what's happening right now with the Big Two, they have to clean up their company and this direction. So I would say you have to start with emphasizing and focusing on who are these characters. Okay, who are they? Who are they going to be? What are the definitive versions of these characters? Let's figure that out, and from here on out, however we got to do it, we got to do some goofy crossover and just make it happen. The final, they already done the final crisis.
It's no final crisis.
Yeah, final crisis if they do that. And you get the definitive versions of these characters, right? And you say, hey, this is it. You know what I mean? And you want to start, even if you want a final reboot. Here's Batman number 1. You know what I mean? And in Batman number 1, you're going to make sure that you say what part of Batman's past, maybe in Detective Comics, and just laying it out. Detective Comics in his form and his subtitle books. This is what's canon, right? This happened. There's no denying this. This is mechanically the case, right? And maybe you have to do that for each individual character. Maybe you have to get even more creative. Maybe you got to throw it on the website. Maybe it's not something that's limited to them. But this is who these characters are. And if you start at number 1 right now, right, you will be able to keep up with these characters that are definitive themselves now, and you can move forward. To me, that has to be the number 1 emphasis if anybody's going to take this serious and feel like you're taking, because that's really what it is, right? The audience has to feel like you're taking it serious, and it doesn't feel that way at all with these guys. So that's the one way that they can do it. Get the definitive versions of these characters and start moving forward with it. Be clear and concise as far as what's canon, what's actually happen and move forward with that in mind, that you're not going to pivot from that. And again, that's what they can take from manga, in the sense that, like we said, I got a bunch of them back there. Start at number 1. That's it. This is when you want to read the book. That doesn't mean necessarily every single event is told in chronological order. But if you start at number 1, you can get exposed to the world is happening.
Absolutely, and then you go forward into years in the future, maintain that same continuity, not getting ridiculous with multiverse and all that stuff again, just sticking straight to it. We'll know exactly what to read. They go from there, and I think a really great previous example we saw back in the 90s and early 2000s of this was the Timverse with DC, the animated universe, because they gave you Batman, the animated series, Superman, and they built up the Justice League. They went from there. Everything was definitive. Everything was of the iconic version. The characters that truly represent them. We didn't get a new 52 Superman where he's wearing a hoodie and he's grim dark and all this other stuff. We got everything the way it's supposed to be, and that's what I really want to see moving forward as a longtime fan of all these characters, and I think that's going to be the best way to really do this. So, overall, with that being said, let us know your own thoughts down below in the comments, guys. Also, make sure, of course, to check out the Rippaverse. I'm going to have links down there to ISOM, as well as Eric July's channel. You're going to love that stuff, especially if you like this video. And make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future. Yeah, you better subscribe.
Woo! Yeah, boy.
대마법사 마이어를 아세요? 전설적인 마법사인 그는 아라드를 지키기 위해 대마법진을 만들었어요. 덕분에 아라드의 풍요로운 환경이 유지되고 있지요. 하지만 몇 년 전 제국이 그란 플로리스의 대마법진을 파괴하고 불을 질렀어요. 이른바 대화재라는 비극적인 사건이에요. 요정의 희생으로 어렵게 대마법진이 복구됐지만 그때의 상처가 아직도 이 숲에 남아있어요. 저는 두 번 다시 그런 슬픔이 일어나지 않도록 막고 싶어요.
Jesus. Was it this many quests, sir? Oh shit. Hey. I'll be using lightsabers.
Staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. No wonder I never had a career in music. You're listening to 8-Bit Hits.
All right.
망가진 장비는 내게 맡기게. 자네 요즘 자주 보는 것 같은데. 자네 요즘 자주 보는 것 같은데.
Never mind.
모든 것은 정의의 뜻대로.
Who the fuck is that?
I'll mark it on your map.
Duke, where are you going?
Sorry, honey. I got some
오늘은
ass kicking
뭐가
to
많이
do.
팔리려나?
Please, you need to listen to me.
다음엔 더 많이 사러 오세요.
Have you even listened to a thing I've ever said?
Shut the fuck up.
Damn it! My leg! Get away from me! I think I'm gun shot!
이봐요, 멋쟁이 양반. 오늘 아주 솔깃한 제안을 하나 하려고 하는데 들어보겠어요?
제 도움이 필요하세요?
이봐요, 멋쟁이 양반. 내가 아주 솔깃한 제안을 하나 하려고 하는데 들어보겠어요?
부자님은 오늘도 바쁘시네요.
다음에 또 봐요. 다음에 또 봐요.
Legend.
모험가님이 하늘성에 가신 동안 전이에 대해 조사해봤어요. 전이는 동식물 정령을 비롯하여 질병이나 귀신 등 존재하는 모든 것이 원래 있던 곳에서 벗어나 다른 곳으로 이동하는 현상이에요. 원인은 아직 알려지지 않았지만 피해자는 셀 수 없이 많아요. 가장 유명한 전이 현상은 비명불에 시로코라는 괴물이 나타났던 사건이에요. 실은 그 이후로는 아직 전이로 인한 큰 사건이 일어나지 않았다지만 정말일까요? 그런 클로리스처럼 그저 알려지지 않은 게 아닐까요? 하늘성이 갑자기 나타난 이유가 혹시 아라브 곳곳에서 일어나는 전이와 관계가 있다면
sound off in the live chat, and especially if you're watching this on demand, we get primarily a lot of our views are on demand for a lot of our reviews, like Collision Discourse. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about the July 29th edition of the AEW Collision. And the key question is this the best episode yet? I'm going to ask that question. I'm going to answer that question as well at the end of this review right here. So comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Not to the bank, MVP, LVP out of 10. What did you give the show? And of course, we appreciate you for joining us. Show your appreciation back by dropping a thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the ChiLL YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We just hit the 8K milestone. The next goal is 10,000 subscribers at the end of the year. So be a part of that journey and tell a friend to hit that subscribe button and join us here on the ChiLL YouTube channel. Now let's talk about the AEW Collision from July 29th, 2023 from Hartford, Connecticut, XL Center. And I thought the crowd was very good. Usually you don't expect a good crowd from Connecticut, but I felt that this was a great show for this Connecticut crowd. So we got a bigger response of the year again from Connecticut when AEW visits there. We did start off the show as usual with the pre-theme intro promos from our main event participants, and MJF. They say they are ready to win the AEW championship because they are better than you, baby. FDR says they are done with the dancing, done with the funny games. They are here to whoop ass and retain their AEW World Tag Team Championships. Really good promos for both guys. And once again, further hype for the main event. If you're watching AEW, you know me, I enjoy the main event. It helps make the main event feel good. But something that also felt important is our opener for the show. As Buddy Matthews came out to go along with Andrade and Evil with Andrade's mask. Hey, yes, this is a ladder match, and boy, I will say that this wasn't as great as their first start of the beer edition of Collision, but both of these guys just let it all hang out. They were having a ladder match, and you needed certain spots, so they intricately kind of position each of their big set spots. Even like early on, we got a little bit like a pre-spot of Andrade doing a moonsault off the ladder, off the floor, onto Buddy Matthews. Back in the ring, he does two amigos, but he takes too long on the third. Not that it matters, as Matthews tosses him into the ladder. You got Junior Hart, who causes some distraction for Andrade, and who get involved right on throughout this bout. As those are first brings back to Andrade in trouble. Matthews, though, his shoulder first break and pops out for a second. Andrade's about to climb the ladder, but he's able to go to the doctor, get it popped back in. He climbs up the ladder and stops off breathing, and then is in control. When we come back, they have ladder bridges set up between the print and the announcer's table. And we're like, oh. Then they set up another ladder bridge from the ring ropes to a ladder on the outside from the entranceway. We get the first spot of the first ladder bridge. It's very much built up, and I like how they let it build up so the moment really hits you when it finally happens. It looks like Andrade's going for a spear after multiple attempts of Buddy Matthews going for the Hangman's DDT onto the ladder bridge. Andrade's able to block it. He looks like he's in control.
onto the ladder bridge on Buddy Matthews. Well, Buddy Matthews able to reverse it into the hangman's feet. Onto the ladder bridge. Julia Hart in shot for that spot and like knows that both men are getting paid. But gets into the ring at this point. Buddy Matthews smashing Andrade's head into the table. We get hit tosses on the ladder, and this was both guys put their bodies in a physical encounter. We get our next set and both men fight to the ladder. It's like at one point Andrade's gonna go for a double stomp onto Buddy Matthews, laying on the ladder bridge between the ring ropes and the ladder. He's going up to the top. Buddy Matthews beats him, but Andrade is able to control the thing and ends up hitting a death-defying sunset powerbomb onto the ladder bridge. Had to hurt both men, especially Buddy Matthews, even though not sure he is very we get handcuffs getting involved with Julia Hart bringing it out, handcuffing Andrade to the ring post, but he's able to free himself once he gets the keys from Julia. Buddy Matthews ends up handcuffed, but Julia Hart has trouble with the bolt cutters. She has to climb onto Andrade's back to slow him down. Eventually, Buddy Matthews is able to free himself with the bolt cutters. All the men are fighting on the top. Andrade fights Buddy Matthews off the top of the ladder with Julia Hart on top of his back. Julia Hart winds up on the other side of the ladder, and Andrade pushes her down into Buddy Matthews, into the table, in the corner to get the win. He retrieves the mask in 18 minutes, 6 seconds. Got a lot of time. This was a lot of great spots, a lot of big moments. Got the crowd involved, had a hot crowd throughout. It seems like that Andrade wins this challenge. I don't know if this is the end of the rivalry because we still haven't gotten the Black matchup. Andrade did say in a recent interview that he doesn't want to face Malachi Black in Wembley Stadium coming up on August 27th, so maybe that's the next logical, big matchup for this feud, but still in the gas until then. He does have unfinished business with Brody King, who he got a DQ win over. He hasn't got any kind of real win over Brody King, so you can run that back, but we do have to get that Black matchup out of the way. We also got to get a trio championship matchup. I think the best way to do it is to do the singles match with Malachi and Andrade at All In, and then do the trio championship matchup at All Out the next week. Speaking of someone who needs plans and we need to look at what's going on with the Miro, has a backstage interview with Tony Schiavone, and he's asked about the upcoming battle that he promised. When Aaron Solo comes in and tries to jump him with the steel chair, Miro's able to fight him off and eventually use the steel chair on him, laying him out. Could this be a potential Miro versus Powerhouse House matchup? Yes. Next we have Darby Allin, who comes out on social media, and he announced that he was making an open challenge to anyone to come out and face him on the show. And it's none other than a surprise appearance from Japan Pro Wrestling. Minoru Suzuki, the king, is here. Oh, no, Darby Allin, you menace! As he has access to the Minoru Suzuki. Alright, before the bell during the entrance, Michael forecast came out, right? The competition that he has in front of him, trying to get the upper hand. Puts him in a steel chair, sits him down, and then he gets a drop kick off the apron for a big spot here to get Suzuki eventually fighting back and getting control. Get up in a yard of Darby, but a try and choke in the ropes, has to break that one, but he eventually uses Darby tape around his ribs and uses it against him, chopping Darby in the chest. He chokes him up with the ring tape. Darby tries to fight back with the chops, but of course Minoru Suzuki wins this exchange. But eventually Minoru Suzuki
desire to get the rear naked show. He goes for it multiple occasions, multiple forms. Goes for it at one point when he's in control, one point on a reversal when they're running the ropes, and then eventually he reverses the button drops into the rear naked show. But Darby is able to reverse it into a pin combination back up and over into the pin combination. But in order to won't let go, he gets the win 8 minutes, 12 seconds. This came out of nowhere, where, but it was fun. Very fun matchup. Darby getting the win, building him further up for his TNT Championship matchup, which we got a reminder of that post-match as Christian Cage and Luchasaurus pop up on the screen, and they say that Darby Allin is no longer worthy for being the TNT champion. He needs to go back to the home topic where he belongs, or wherever he belongs. He says that he is the TNT champion, and he heard this, and he is no longer worthy to be in contention before. We hear from the AEW Women's World Champion, Toni Storm, ready for Kushida coming up on AEW Dynamite 200 this Wednesday, and she calls Kushida Pandemic Champion, but leaves that back in the pandemic. Next, we got a matchup which was very particular, and it was announced and even peculiar in the aftermath. As you have Gravity turning in the ROH #1 contender.
Boy, if I had all that money.
Contenders tournament, and he's going to the ROH television champion, Samoa Joe. We get some comments very early on with Gravity doing his Gravity Claw, but winning Samoa Joe's offense. Eventually, Samoa Joe, he uses his signature walk-away spot, but does the Gravity slow motion astronaut walk away from him. And Samoa Joe gets the win in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 5 seconds.
무슨 옷을 찾으시나요?
Gravity just got squashed by the TV champion, who he can still earn a shot against later. Oh man, I can't wait to see Gravity advance to the third. Next thing. This was not good. Not the best use of time. I like Samoa Joe getting a win, getting back on the winning side of the ledger after losing CM Punk with the markup, but not the person I would put him against, and yeah. Anyway, CM Punk comes out for a chat, and he's got his bad. He says he's had a rough travel day, but he says that he always makes his counts because he won't disappoint his fans. Basically taking a shot at someone. I don't know who. No one seems to know who, but maybe we'll find out. Like we did the game that happened. Punk brings up the fact that no one has referenced All In, and he says that it's a pretty big show, and no one has really acknowledged it. Maybe we'll figure that. And he says that he promises that he will perform at All In, but maybe we'll figure out who his opponent is for that by the end of the night. But now he wants to talk about what's in the red bag. He also wants to talk about Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks has beaten him twice, but he is more disappointed than anything else. Now, as far as the bag, it isn't that he's carrying it, but rather that he's been left holding it. And after a what's in the bag chant, Punk pulls out the AEW World title, which he says that he was never pinned or submitted, which is why his name and his blood is still on it. It's the same title that he took from John Moxley back at All Out 2022 last year in Chicago. And Punk says that he whips out some spray paint, but he says that he needs the makeover and he paints an X on it. And he says that the X has been his symbol since the 90s, and it still is here. Cue Ricky Starks. And Punk also brings up that he feels like he says that the AEW World Championship hasn't been stolen from him, like his catchphrase, taking a shot at MJF, and he says that this represents a fighting champion, and he promises to be a fighting champion here for Collision. And this brings out Ricky Starks, who says the way his entrance, he makes his full entrance while Punk and Silvani have to wait in the ring. You get Nigel McGuinness with Poppy, as well as Tony Schiavone, who are losing it on the commentary because what a surprise! Ricky Starks is here. Speaking of the third person, Ricky Ricky Starks says that he's focused on gold right now, and he says that he beat Punk before, and he bit Punk before he could beat him, and that title belongs to him because he's beaten Punk twice. Starks calls himself the face of Collision, but Punk calls him the face of cheating. Punk thinks Starks wants a title shot and says he can do it a third time, but this time he wants a special guest referee. Starks recommends someone from CM Punk's past, like Julio De Niro or Dave Prazak or someone from Stanford, but Punk has already made a phone call to someone from his past, and they shake hands. Punk and Starks basically come into an agreement that they will have a match, and Tony Schiavone says that the match is made for next week. Ricky Starks challenging CM Punk for the original championship of AEW. But before Ricky Starks leaves, Tony Schiavone gets the honor from CM Punk to announce who the special guest referee will be, and he announces it will be none other than Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who revealed a lot of history for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. CM Punk from Saturday. Ring of Honor, special guest referee for
내가
CM
아주
Punk matchup
솔깃한
for
제안을
Oregon
하나
Bryan
하려고 하는데
Danielson, and
들어보겠어요?
so feud with CM Punk shortly in Ring of Honor. So love that history and him coming in to make things even between Ricky and Punk as they have their second bout. Unfortunately, the thing that missed the mark with this whole promo is the fact that the real world champion, official
이곳에도
AEW
재밌는 일이 많을 것
champion,
같은데.
MJF, is in the building and didn't start out to say anything about the thing. A little bit of a logic hole there, but other than that, I enjoy this lights out starts to.
아직도 커리
Next,
차가운
we get a video
얼음을
on MJF
다양한
and
듯
CM Punk,
보였는데
a reminder that our champion is here in the building, unfortunately. And then we get a six-man tag team matchup, trios action, Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson,
이봐요, 멋쟁이 양반. 내가 아주 솔깃한 제안을 하나 하려고 하는데 들어보겠어요?
entrance, doing his crazy faces as Juice Robinson can as they go against Action Flights. You're not ready. And there is oh, with AAA, they has Ellie Hills the King. This wasn't the showcase for the King but put him on the card and he did get a spot that would be memorable in this matchup. Bullet Club Gold showing their charisma with Cutout Jay, who's not here tonight, Cutout Cardboard Jay, who's not here tonight, but here in spirit. Elio Del Vikingo, that aforementioned spot, came towards the end of the matchup as Jin Flank set up basically a prop up. So he got Vikingo got on the top rope, then got on their hands and basically launched into the air for Tope Angelo onto the Guns and Juice Robinson. And this featured a close-up where Juice got a handful of Colton before the leap of fate here. Eventually, it's the Guns who get the win for Bullet Club Gold, hitting 310 to Yuma on Darius Martin, who takes the loss in this one. BC Gold getting the win. We cut out Cardboard J alongside with them. Cool matchup for Bullet Club Gold, continuing to get their momentum back after the loss to FTR 2 weeks ago. Next up, we got women's action as Kara Hogan went one-on-one with former Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez looked very hype and energetic and a lot of energy for this one, making her Collision debut as well as working in close to home to Brass City in Hartford, Connecticut. She was feeling the vibe and getting the win. 7 minutes this one getting unfortunately cut off by a commercial break. But Mercedes Martinez gets the win with Brass City Sleeper, the third floor Dragon Sleeper. After the matchup, she continues to keep on the Brass City Sleeper until TBS champion Chris Statlander comes out to make the save. Mercedes Martinez first failed, but eventually knocks Statlander silly with the TBS championship and says she's coming for the title. It was a little Nightingale to come out to make the save to run Mercedes Martinez off, and later in the night he's announced Statlander will defend next week, next Saturday on Collision. Will defend the TBS championship against Mercedes Martinez. Nice way to build a TBS championship matchup for next week. kind of stacking the show with 3 title matches. As mentioned, when we get to the main event here, and it's about that time, let me get to it. Let's get to the main event of the evening. MJF and Adam Cole, better than you, baby, challenging the AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR in our main event of the evening. MJF, because MJF has been doing and playing with you. It's just all the time at Revolution, telling your job. And then, of course, his entrance and how fighting. And now he does runs during the interview here. MJF and Adam Cole versus FTR for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I thought this was a well-paced matchup where you had the little interactions of Cole going at it with Dax, you had Cole going at it with Hardwood, you eventually had Dax going at it with MJF, and that's a very refreshing. And then this chaos picked up here, where you're here with like hard shots, just getting a little bit more stiff, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more chippy. You get MJF, you get some look in the eye, some shoving in between the two teams as we go to commercial break. MJF is in trouble when he's cornered and isolated by FTR before Adam Cole is able to come in and make the hot tag, coming in, cleaning house here. He comes in, he gets a couple of near falls. We get FTR who then takes advantage of getting some near falls there. All get the big time rope power flex on Adam Cole, and a heck of a slingshot power move by Dax Harwood for MJF getting near falls as well. Everything breaks down. MJF, after thinking about it a little, hits shattered dreams on this match is earlier in the matchup. The simplest things get the biggest pop. This got the biggest pop shattered dreams I've ever got because MJF said smack all the balls earlier in the matchup. MJF is the master of getting the simplest moves. Later on, we get the move broken up by FTR, but they eventually set up for the shadow machine. But MJF does go out of the way. He gets it away, but he's able to reverse Shatter Machine, and then he looks like he's trying to set up that arm for the Heat Seeker, but set up Cash for the Heat Seeker, but Dax Harwood was able to rope up O'Connor Rail 1, 2, 3, just under 20 minutes. A great matchup. This was one that had really good action and just intricate storytelling where he plays a dramatic finish. Even though it was a finish that was perfect more than 90 this is a perfect finish to continue the story. As MJF makes his first selfless decision of his entire career, push point the other way and takes the loss. His first loss since May of 2022. Adam Cole actually over MJF afterwards as we're going to win the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and they will defend the titles next week on AEW Collision against Brian Cage and Big Bill after they won the tag team.
Oh shit.
Head-to-head with SummerSlam, but Adam Cole matchup, seeing MJF for winning, he did it all. He did everything he did, telling him gets the AEW Championship, answers to tells him that he's still the champion, but then Adam Cole turns around to MJF, and then you see this MJF going through mental trauma, trying to decide should he go with his head, which is telling him the right thing to do now to get back or to get some redemption. Is to bring Adam in the AEW Championship, but his heart is telling him he's my friend. He's my friend that just offered me at my time of need. I need to just put this title down and be a friend. MJF trusts his heart. Adam Cole accepts his fate. He's not a dumb babyface. He knows he's turned his back on the man that calls himself the devil himself. Feel that he has a best friend. And he turns his back, he opens his arm, he says, what you gotta do. But then he realizes that MJF's not gonna do it, and they hug as we end the show. As our growth fans continue, our people love the hug at this is a happy end with this end. Best friends together is a little bit longer. We know the destination is this betrayal, but I like the fact that they kept the best friends going. So the right decision was to have MJF and Adam Cole win this night. They didn't have to hold it. They could have lost it 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. Did not matter. I thought the right decision right now is to hold the hot act. They're the top merchandise seller, top rating draw for this promotion right now. The hottest act in the company. Go with the hot act, the hot act. With many of the titles, you can hold it to then drop the FBR back, and then we can get back to the course. But keeping the friendship together was the most important thing, even more than the So I thought this was a great episode of Collision. As high, so I was as high as I think I gave for the premiere, specific premiere episode, and even maybe Owen Hart. I'm trying to mess up. I don't have any the best ideas of this, so I'm just gonna do myself. But I did the acting.
Oh, Ash!
It's best episode. This is the second.
Oh! Oh! Come on.
So, here's the thumbs up. 10, 10. Very unique episode with a tremendous main event with some great storytelling and a great post-match with MJF and Adam Cole. I thought this episode, we set up, we have a big reveal of the red bag and the AEW Championship, the real World Championship.
Turn that off.
Collision for a couple of weeks up here till we get into All In and All Out weekend for that week, that big week there. Well, then there's a bunch of great stuff going on right now in AEW, and I think they are putting it all together to really have it all, like, All In and All Out season. So really good episode here. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the main event. Really enjoyed the opener. The ladder match was fantastic, and I really enjoyed watching the post promo and the woman set up for the TBS Championship match. Bully Loco getting momentum back, so nothing to complain about. MVP for the show, I'm gonna go with FTR for retaining, Andrade for winning his mass battle, and MJF and Adam Cole being the best thing on AEW television. LPP for this show, I'm gonna go with Gravity, straight up to Brody. Unfortunately, this one did not look good at all, and like we've just been used to flip over the last 2 weeks. And the match of the night, I'm going to go with the main event, just edging out the ladder match. I think it just edged out the ladder match. A great main event. FTR getting back up there as far as the best tag team in the world conversation. They Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had pushed their name above also open after their house here.
Oh, sport?
내가 아주 솔깃한 제안을 하나 하려고 하는데 들어보겠어요?
Best tag team in the world. But that is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought was the match of the night. MVP, LVP, out of 10, what you gave the show. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up. Definitely thumbs up on this video. Share this video with your wrestling fans, friends, family. Hit that subscribe, hit the bell to say notified for great content here. Until next week, we'll see you guys actually tomorrow here on the Trio YouTube channel.
Hey, I'm about to run out of sequences. Good. I got 20 something. So should probably switch. So they got the returning gear. Nice.
모든 이야기를 이 가방에 담는 게
Yeah,
목표랍니다.
What about Cross for six? Tired young baby. DFO beginner. Yeah, that was special.
저는 항상 기다리고 있어요.
Okay.
저는
Okay,
항상
join.
기다리고 있어요.
Space Station. See, microphone and Soul extractor. Refresh.
저의 여행기를 듣고 싶으신 건가요?
이봐요, 멋쟁이 양반. 내가 아주 솔깃한 제안을 하나 하려고 하는데 들어보겠어요?
어? 내 핀이 어디 갔지? 로투스를 쓰러뜨리려면 당신이 필요해요. 레슬리 빌그라스께서 이렇게 말씀하셨습니다.
맛있는 술.
지금 당신의 기분은 어떤가요? 감추려 하지 마세요. 정신을 집중하고. 저는 눈과 함께 흘러가고 있어요.
Oh, the magical attack's higher. But I like the attack speed bonus. Hyper Jammer. Like the.
우리 누이는 언제쯤?
이거 제가 만든 거예요.
하늘은 남자의 로망이지.
For a while since I busted out my necro, so it's, Alright. Jesus. Jesus, I am out of fucking
그래서
crap.
들이지 마오. 다음에 또 봐요.
부르셨습니까, 주인님? 나와라, 원령이. 오버킬. 퍼펙트. 오버킬. 엑셀런트.
나의 인수를 받아라. 마이
몸을 걷겠습니다. 나와라, 원령.
What is this again?
사라져버려.
그래. 나와라, 원령.
그래서 들이지 마오. 그래서 들이지 마오.
It's overtake time here on 8-Bit Hits.
Alright.
Get ready. I have no idea what this one is about, but let's give it a listen, shall we?
Thrill, action, mystery. A three-step recipe that only a pair of hardened detectives can solve. A pair of hardened detectives that can only be named Walter Camry and Bunny. That's right.
나와라,
Both
원령이.
escapades the suspenseful wasteland adventure, starring Eric and Walter Camry, a toughest sales detective with even the silver shroud can compare, and Amy Harris as Bunny, the free and middle name that starts all-star stage. Sure does do justice to the phrase on Bombshell. Will they solve the mystery of Vault 2? Will they remain sealed behind forever? Stay tuned to True Vault Escapades.
Pretty interesting. Back to the music here on 8-Bit
마이
Hits.
동족의 힘을. 나와라, 원령이. 그래. 그래. 오버킬. 동족의 힘을 빌리겠습니다. 오버킬. 나와라, 원령.
주인 나와라. 원령이. 이걸 선멸하겠습니다.
그래서 기대지 마오. 그래서 기대지 마오.
우리 신도 맥주랑 같은 거예요.
아가타를
당신이
타고
필요해요.
저 지평선 너머로 날아가 볼까? 이봐요, 멋쟁이 양반. 멋진 사람. 내가 아주 솔깃한 제안을 하나 하려고 하는데 들어보겠어요?
마법 정말 재밌어. 타격과 마법을 조합해볼까?
무슨 좋은 안건인지.
투에 관심이 있으신가요? 불길한 이름으로 불리긴 해도 오셔서 기뻐요.
당신의 앞날이 궁금했나요? 나의 이름은 아이리스 포춘싱어. 사람들의 운명을 노래한답니다.
Moonlight Tap.
이봐요, 멋쟁이 양반.
안녕하세요. 세리아 키르빈이라고 해요.
무슨 볼일이냐? 명심하게. 선택은 자네의 몫이다. 좋아하죠.
날 이용하려 들지 마.
Previously. Oh wow.
Team Olajuwon's two championships in the middle of the 90s as a kind of interim title belt on rent while Michael Jordan swallowing curveballs. But maybe Hakeem should have been the best player conversation. Maybe his dazzling torch or unlock something special in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And
good
maybe
idea,
that
innit?
incredible
So,
defense.
me was
Maybe
run out of
had one of the
Diamond
very
City
best
by the
players
guns
of
because
the
me
three
slept with the mayor's secretary. My thanks might be a simple, but she got amazing punani. Totally worth it. If you wanna hear the hottest tracks to ever play on the Commonwealth, make sure you're tuning in to 8-Bit
One
Hits.
question. Who was the best at his best? We start with Burger and go through the best multi-year stretches, exhibiting the legends who provided the most on-court impact. These are the greatest peaks.
I was made other sports, soccer, volleyball, field hockey, hiking, more of an all-around athlete. But the coach is telling me that basketball is your game.
The team's defensive highlights had the luminosity of some NFL films montage. No one in NBA history recorded more block shots than a J-Ball Platinum walk. Even though he was closer to 6'10" than a true 7 feet, his equal combination of athleticism and timing made him feel like a very tall on the basketball court. This sequence epitomizes how impregnable he was the rim, sliding at the turns of the corner with dream.
사도 로터스는 결국 모험가에 의해 소멸했다. 승리의 기쁨은 잠시, 모험가의 시련은 아직 끝나지 않았으니 아라드 대륙의 크고 작은 국가 간의 충돌이 모험가를 새로운 모험으로 이끌게 될 것이다.
Wee!
say your guys. This type of friend, the way to like these people are so good, and y'all on good things, but is that person your friend because
Thanks.
it's your friend that really have the best things to say, all right, they want to see you do well, they want to see you want everything you want for yourself, if they want, because what I mean, I mean, in the core, the things that you jealous for, like things you want, actually, the things of you are. When someone's there to be supportive of you, when you say, yo, nah, it's my man, cool. I think the type of friend, or way to be, like these people are so good to know, and y'all are good things, but is that person your friend? Because if that person is your friend, they'll probably have a sense. When you say, yo, nah, it's my man, cool. I think the type of friend, and it's that way to go when you get up there.
Asking you?
Huh? Because I look good. I smell good. I feel good.
Juice?
Make love good.
Oh. Well, there we are. We're not Japanese. We got us. Well, I'm asking you.
Huh? Because I look good.
Yeah.
I smell.
The women love you when you get out there. The women love you when you get out there. Asking you.
Huh? Because I
What do you think? Yeah.
I smell good. I feel good.
Chips? Yes.
I feel good.
Chips?
And make love good.
Oh. Well, we don't have to have any sweet us. The women love you. Oh. Well, we don't have to have any sweet us.
I showed two updates, right? What would you do? What would you do? I want to know if I showed up to our date, where
Ah, my man. Yeah.
what would you do? What would you do? I want to know if I showed up to our date, where what would you do?
You're gonna say restore the Uchiha clan. I can't even.
I've never heard anybody smile Davis is making that. Art, even art. Just because DJ Cool Herc doesn't have $1 billion in the bank does not mean that he didn't make a contribution. He started hip hop. Like some people have the gift of business, some people have the gift of art. Never heard anybody smile Davis.
Oh shit. What the buzz? Oh shit. Oh. Oh. Man, what's on here? Oh shit.
And Houston has no chance against the explosive. When Chicago this week has
low end, Olajuwon spit the dunk back at Scotty's feet, and it has a runway and is above the square. He still goes and gets it. It's not any easier trying to glide around Hakeem because that long right hockey stick finds the basketball as he twists in the air. The first cornerstone of his shot luck brilliance was his accuracy targeting the ball with that domineering right hand. Notice that he retracts with the path of the ball as it's shot. Even in his younger days, when he was slightly less polished, he was incredibly accurate targeting the rock. And up as a handball player primed him to zero in on the ball like this. Hakeem didn't play basketball in Nigeria until he was about 16, so he evolved into his jumping technique. He patiently prepared to spring up and wait till the precise moment to commit to a shot. He holds until Chanel is airborne, then spikes this thing. This is subtle and requires great reflexes, but when Olajuwon moved around the paint, he was constantly ready to jump, which allowed him to attack after a shooter left his feet. It's on display here, where he slides over to contest, but when Elliott hesitates, Hakeem shovels his feet into a jump position and sends it back in his face. This is incredible skill, allowing him to slide into position for a save, yet he doesn't jump, instead controlling his body and waiting for the moment the shooter finally puts it up. He probably learned some of this playing his third major sport moving on his sneaker, where fittingly he played goalkeeper, foreshadowing his career as the NBA's all-time leader. Hakeem registered at least 5 blocks in 35% of playoff games from 1986 to 1994, and in those last 2 years, had 5 in nearly half of his postseason contests. Younger, he was more of an athletic force, but still fairly raw since he picked up basketball at such a late age. And by 1990, his defensive techniques were more polished, and he still had that fluid athleticism. But his 1993 season blended some sage tricks with his incredible body that was so rare in his size. For example, he learns to closer to fall than most big men of his defense era. You see Joe Klein play here because Olajuwon should be above the foul line. The dream was so long he was rarely involved in violations. With David Robinson at the top of the key loads to the ball at the edge of the boundary, the bottom of the circle, so his reaction time getting raised layup. This subtle positioning was especially valuable on the weak side. He's not equal to Robinson and was always tracking the ball, ready to materialize at the rim. Worked on that. Olajuwon's quick head was a nightmare for opponents who were reluctant to shoot when he went into fly swatting mode with that right hand. He tracked threats and was so quick to come into the lane and suffocate any attempt around the basket. When the team went to the bench, opposing teams could finally breathe. All of a sudden, those high percentage shots around the hoop felt much easier. Back in the game, he swarmed to the ball, even with his man up high, and that response speed generated more high leverage contests than any contemporary that I've tracked. He didn't get to every thread. He pounces on his back cut, but it's a touch too late. And every once in a while, he missed a cutter coming through the lane. But he was usually quick to rotate, plugging up gaps in the back line. Although 1995 was a bit slower, sometimes arriving late on his save attempts from outside the paint, and a slightly slower motor meant he wasn't itching to jump at everything on the man. Hakeem's agility helped him defend the perimeter too. For one, he was rarely ever attacked by wings on switches. They also didn't run as many pick and rolls in the 90s as they do today, and coverages weren't as developed then. Yet, he was still comfortable stepping out and taking on small players in these spots without too much price to pay. On this 1993 play, Hakeem realizes there's too much space between him and the ball, so he closes it quickly, then sort of lingers near the lane so he can blow another shot attempt. Here, he blitzes the ball handler to completely blow up the play, although maybe he's too overzealous hounding the dribbler into the backcourt.
Jesus.
Ray's weaknesses in these outdated ball screen coverages. He's really low and lunges at the ball from this crouch.
Oh shit, this is a GM. Richard the Lionheart. Ooh, that's bad ass. Look at this avatar. Price. Is this for priests? Yeah, it's female priest. Damn, son. That shit is beautiful. Festival's climax. Gorgeous. You know what? Hold up. Go ahead and buy it. I'm gonna leave the precious shop up real quick. Hey, who is the
결투에 관심이 있으신가요? 도전하는 자만이 승리를 쟁취할 수 있다는 거 아시죠? 결투의 매력이란 말로는 표현하기 어려운 뜨거운 무언가가 있어요.
우리 누이는 언제쯤 즐거움을 알게 야, 뭐 뭔가를 좋아하는
Ah,
노래
yes, there we go.
있으면
I can't get any of it. I certainly do need it.
좋아 좋아. 오는 발걸음도 가볍게, 가는 발걸음도 가볍게 하자.
Honestly, it's all that shit. Part of that. Alright. Neo Dark Knight. Oh, okay. So he does get advanced. Kinda. Jesus. Wow, it's Dark Knight's fucking advancement. Fucking picture with bad points. Okay, so his coat just changes color. It's black. Alright. Alright, that's cool. Agent. Ugh. This guy, man. This guy. Godfather, Big Boss, Neo Hitman. Huh? Is he summoning spirits? Fuck. Or is that just because of the theme? Secret Agent, Executioner, Neo Secret Agent, Fire, Troubleshooter, Renegade, Neo Troubleshooter. Look at that sexy. Specialist. Specialist looks cool as fuck. Swag shit. Mage. Mentalist. Old Mind. Neo Mentalist. Summer. Oh, the old art, man. Eclipse. Neo Summoner. Battle Mage. Starte. Neo Battle Mage. Looks fire. Witch. Genie Wiz. And Neo Witch. And then Enchantress. Level 50, Black Maiden.
To go kick some ass. Don't
Pate.
Arnold will be here to be spinning those tunes for you.
Mel Mage.
Hear that, Arnie? You only play the
Element
music.
Fire.
Don't hit the on-air
Warlock.
button.
Oh,
Clip
come on,
in.
it's not fair.
Neo Element Fire.
You say
Nigga,
no,
swagging.
Arnie.
Glacial
Not
Master,
ready
so
yet.
level 50
Your
Freezer,
brain is
Hell
more
Freezer,
shaken than an epileptic
Eternal.
scrambled eggs.
Neo
Just
Glacial
press
Master,
this when the
okay.
song's over,
Blood Mage,
okay?
Blood Seeker, Vampire
Okay,
Lord,
let me play.
and
But those
Neo
deficits
Blood
is
Mage.
about
Look
being
at
the
this
shit.
fucking
I want some more
pretty
drink or ice cream.
motherfucker, bro.
Nah.
Jeez, look at
Arnie,
look at
shut
that
the
face.
fuck up.
Christ.
No.
Swiftmaster,
Ice cream
Tempest,
Carl doesn't come for another 2
Alios,
days.
Neo Swiftmaster.
Okay.
Look
Okay,
at that
press
guy.
the button.
It's
Wait, no,
Dimension
not yet.
Walker, Divergent, Ascendant. Oh, he gets a summon? And Neo Dimension Walker. Of course, Girl, the Thief, Necromancer, Defiler, Thanatos, and Neo Necro. Oh, Jesus, look at that advance. Oh my lord. Marucci, Shiranui, Neo Marucci. That, man, it's artists. Jeez. Rogue. Before we had on the Konoichi, we had this kind of ninja, Silver Moon, Alcyon, and Neo Rogue. Ah, Jesus. Shadow Dancer. So this is just a assassin, essentially. Neo Shadow Dancer. What? Demo Slayer, so lit. This is such a dope fucking class. Sword Master, Noblesse. What were the first three classes? I believe they're Demon Slayer, yeah. Demon Slayer and Sword Master, the first two. Beta test music really cool. Alright, Templar. Yo, holy shit. So lit. Ian Bane. Decide. Neo Boozler. Vagabond. ballet dancer. Up. Up. No, none of the female slayers spec so. Oh my gosh. Spec so lit. So swaggy. Cyberpunk as fuck. She's got the shades. It looks cool as hell. None of them have like the Slayer fucking corruption. They don't have the ghost on corruption shit. The Blade Master. Soulbender. Whoa. Berserker. Hellbringer. Blood Evil. And then that guy. Ashura. Arrow. Indra. And Neo Ashura. Ghost Blade. Like Sasha, and then Ghost Blade. Female Priest. Inquisitor. Mistress. Demon. Shaman. Ah, this one is supposed to be more Eastern themed. Okay, I like that. And Crusader, which is traditional cleric. Oh, the male priest though. Love his advancements. Crusader. This fucking guy. Oh, Monk, bro. Avenger. Male fighter. Man master. Man, look like that. Striker. Waller. And grappler. And then female fighter. Master. And Empress. And Master. Striker. Brawler. Huh. That looks lit. Grappler! Huh. I love the Joshi look. Ultimate Diva. Or Luchadora look. And then Luchadora, very Brazilian. So you got something about. Anyway, it's been fun. These sucks. See you guys later.